All right, strap in, everybody, because today we are taking a deep dive into culture.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Deep dive into culture.
That massive force that shapes our world,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And we've got this fascinating document. It's called How to Think Culture.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
And our mission, if you will, is to kind of extract the golden nuggets from it and see how those link up with the 6 pillars of critical thinking.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
openness, self-awareness, all that emotional intelligence.
The whole shebang.
Yeah, exactly.
Love it.
We're going to uncover historical patterns. We're going to peek into people's souls through art. And we're even going to grapple with how technology is kind of messing with our values.
Right.
All without getting lost in the weeds.
Yeah.
We're going to keep the Pareto principle in mind.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think there's going to be some aha moments here.
Yeah.
So get ready.
I think what makes this deep dive so fascinating is that we're not just like looking at culture as a list of facts, you know? We're approaching it as like this web of stories and a tapestry of human experience that connects us all.
Oh, I love that. A tapestry of stories.
Yeah.
It's like each thread represents a different aspect of culture, and then when they're all woven together, they create this incredibly rich and complex picture of who we are, right? But where do we even begin to unravel this tapestry?
Well, the document starts by defining culture, and I think it does a really brilliant job of emphasizing its scope.
Okay.
It says that culture is the collective story of humanity, encompassing everything from history and art to technology and even human behavior.
Right.
So it's not just what we see in museums, you know?
Right.
It's woven into every aspect of our lives.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing, like, what fork to use at a fancy dinner.
Right.
It's about understanding the deeper why behind all these customs, right?
Exactly.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But how does this broad definition actually help us understand the world better?
Because it forces us to think about the interconnectedness of everything.
Okay.
It's not just about memorizing historical dates
Right.
or appreciating a beautiful painting in isolation. It's about understanding how these pieces fit together,
Okay.
how they influence each other,
Right.
and how they ultimately shape the world that we live in.
So it's kind of like those choose your own adventure books,
Right.
right? Where each decision leads you down a different path.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Each choice,
Okay.
each historical event,
Yeah.
each piece of art, it's all connected,
Wow.
creating this vast and intricate network of human experience.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this tapestry idea really works.
Yeah.
But with so many threads to follow, where do we focus our attention?
Well, the document jumps into history first,
Okay.
and for good reason.
All right.
It highlights how history reveals patterns in human behavior,
Yeah.
patterns that offer valuable lessons for us today. So you can kind of think of it as this massive case study in human decision-making.
So it's not just about memorizing names and dates.
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's about understanding those larger forces that shape societies.
Right.
Take, for instance, the rise and fall of empires.
Uh-huh.
There's a pattern there, a story that repeats itself throughout history.
So are you saying that by understanding those patterns, we can kind of avoid making the same mistakes in the future?
It's not necessarily about predicting the future, but rather about recognizing those historical echoes.
Okay.
And understanding how past decisions led to certain outcomes.
Right.
And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The document connects history to 2 of those core principles of critical thinking:
Oh, all right.
self-awareness and ethical reasoning.
Now you've got me hooked. How does history boost our self-awareness?
Okay, think about it like this. You're facing a tough moral dilemma today. Right. Now, imagine leaders throughout history wrestling with similar challenges, you know,
Right.
like going to war or grappling with social injustice.
Wow.
By studying their choices, their thought processes, we gain this new lens for our own ethical navigation.
Okay.
We start to see how our values and beliefs are often shaped by the forces that came before us.
So it's like history provides us with this whole library of ethical dilemmas and potential solutions.
Yeah, you can think of it that way.
Kind of like a what would Socrates do guide to life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It allows us to step outside our own limited perspective and tap into this vast reservoir of human experience.
Okay, I could definitely see how understanding history can be a powerful tool for navigating the present.
Yes.
But let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
What about art and literature.
Okay.
How do they fit into this cultural tapestry?
They provide those emotional snapshots of humanity that we wouldn't get otherwise. They offer us this glimpse into the hearts and minds of people from different cultures and different times, allowing us to connect with their experiences on a much deeper level.
It's like reading someone's diary or listening to their inner thoughts.
Yeah, it's a very intimate experience, and that's where openness and emotional intelligence come in.
Okay.
Art and literature require us to be open to experiencing the world through someone else's eyes.
Okay.
To connect with emotions that may be different from our own.
Right.
And ultimately to develop a greater sense of empathy and understanding.
So it's not just about admiring the technical skill or appreciating the beauty of a piece of art.
Right.
It's about allowing ourselves to be moved by it, to be challenged by it, to see the world in a new light.
Precisely.
Yeah. Okay.
And what I find truly fascinating is that art and literature aren't static.
Yeah.
They continue to speak to us in new ways as we grow and evolve.
Mm.
The document even suggests revisiting familiar works over time.
Wait, so like rereading a favorite book?
Exactly. As we gain more life experience, our interpretations of those works can change dramatically.
Right.
We might notice things that we missed before, or connect with characters in a whole new way.
So it's like those optical illusions where you see one image and then suddenly your brain flips it?
Yes.
And you see something completely different.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Our understanding of art and literature is constantly being reshaped by our own experiences and perspectives.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's like this reminder that cultural exploration is a lifelong journey.
Yes.
Not a destination, right?
Not a destination.
But okay, so we've got history for the big picture. We've got art and literature for the personal connection.
Right.
But what about the force that's constantly reshaping our world at warp speed?
You're talking about technology, of course.
Right, right.
Yeah.
The document points out how technology is a reflection of humanity's incredible capacity for innovation.
Yes.
I mean, it's transformed every aspect of our lives, from how we communicate to how we access information.
Absolutely.
But here's where critical thinking becomes absolutely essential.
Yeah.
The document emphasizes that technology isn't inherently good or bad.
Right.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
And like any tool, it can be used for positive or negative ends.
Exactly.
So it's like a hammer.
Yeah.
You can use it to build a house, or you can use it to, well, do something less constructive.
Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Right.
It's all about how we choose to use it.
Yeah.
Think about artificial intelligence, for example.
Okay.
It has the potential to revolutionize healthcare, education, countless other fields. But it also raises some serious ethical questions about privacy, bias, even the nature of consciousness.
So we can't just blindly embrace every new technological advancement.
Right.
We need to be thoughtful about its potential impact, both positive and negative.
Absolutely. And this is where the Pareto principle comes into play again.
Yeah.
We can't possibly analyze every single technological advancement out there.
Right.
But by focusing on those major shifts like the printing press, the internet, and now artificial intelligence, we gain a deeper understanding of how technology has shaped human communication, knowledge, even the way we think.
Okay, so we need to be critical consumers of technology, not just passive users.
Precisely.
But before we get too carried away with all this tech talk, let's bring things back down to earth a bit.
All right.
You're thinking about how we understand ourselves within society.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's all well and good to talk about history and art and technology, but how do we make sense of this complex web of social interactions and cultural norms that shaped our everyday lives?
That's where sociology and anthropology come in.
Cool.
The document describes these fields as tools for understanding how people interact, form communities, and create meaning within their cultural frameworks.
So it's like they provide us with a roadmap to navigate the social landscape.
More like a decoder ring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So sociology and anthropology help us decipher the hidden codes and symbols that shape our interactions and perceptions.
Interesting.
And what's fascinating is how these fields often challenge those oversimplified narratives that we tend to create about ourselves and others. They encourage us to question stereotypes and assumptions.
Okay.
To dig deeper, and consider alternative perspectives.
And that's where skepticism comes in.
Exactly.
Always questioning, always digging deeper.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Sociology and anthropology push us to be more discerning.
Okay.
To look beyond the surface and understand the complex factors that influence human behavior.
But how do we apply this skepticism in a practical way?
Okay.
I mean, it's easy to say question everything.
Right.
But where do we even start?
The document offers a fantastic suggestion. Engage in conversations with people from different cultural backgrounds.
Okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that just reinforce stereotypes if we go in with preconceived notions?
That's a risk.
Yeah.
But we can mitigate that by being mindful of our approach.
Okay.
The key is to approach those conversations with genuine curiosity.
Right.
And a desire to understand, not to judge.
So it's about being an active listener.
Yes.
Not just waiting for our turn to speak.
Exactly. It's about asking thoughtful questions.
Yeah.
Acknowledging differences.
Right.
And recognizing that our own perspective is just one piece of a much larger puzzle.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Each conversation is like adding another piece to the puzzle.
Uh-huh.
Helping us see the bigger picture more clearly.
Yeah.
But okay, we've talked about challenging assumptions and understanding different perspectives.
Uh-huh.
I think it's time we address the elephant in the room.
You're talking about diversity.
Right.
Yeah.
The document really drives home the point that there's no single story of humanity.
Yeah.
Diversity is about recognizing and celebrating the richness and complexity that different perspectives, values, and traditions bring to our shared existence.
Absolutely.
And it's about so much more than just tolerance.
Yeah.
It's about actively embracing those differences, learning from them, and recognizing how they strengthen and enrich us all.
Absolutely.
The document highlights openness and emotional intelligence as being especially important when it comes to navigating a diverse world.
I completely agree. Openness to ideas and perspectives that might challenge our own, and emotional intelligence to understand and empathize with people who've had different experiences than us. It's about stepping outside of our comfort zones and recognizing that true growth comes from embracing the unknown.
So how do we put this into practice? How do we move beyond simply acknowledging diversity to actually engaging with it in a meaningful way?
Well, once again, the Pareto principle can be incredibly helpful here.
Okay.
The document suggests focusing on key cultural concepts like individualism versus collectivism, or traditions around rites of passage.
Okay.
By understanding these fundamental concepts, we can uncover both the universal themes that connect us as humans and the fascinating contrasts that make each culture unique.
So it's like learning a new language. You start with the basic grammar and vocabulary, and then you can gradually build your fluency over time.
Exactly. And just like learning a new language, engaging with the different cultures requires patience, practice, and a willingness to make mistakes along the way.
Of course.
But the rewards are immeasurable.
This has been such an insightful conversation so far.
It has, hasn't it?
I feel like we're starting to untangle this intricate tapestry of culture, thread by thread.
We're getting there.
Yeah. I can't wait to see what other treasures we uncover.
Me too.
All right.
I'm excited.
Let's keep going.
Let's do it. You know, as we're weaving our way through this tapestry of culture, it strikes me how crucial those 6 core principles of critical thinking really are.
Okay.
It's like they're the tools we need to truly understand and appreciate its complexity.
Totally. It's like they're interwoven into the very fabric of culture itself.
Exactly. Openness allows us to approach different cultures with curiosity and a willingness to learn.
Right.
Self-awareness helps us recognize our own biases and assumptions, which is so important when encountering new perspectives. And then there's emotional intelligence, which enables us to connect with people on a deeper level, fostering empathy and understanding.
Right. And we can't forget about critical thinking and skepticism.
Yes, absolutely.
Those are key for analyzing cultural narratives and questioning stereotypes. They help us separate fact from fiction. And challenge those oversimplified narratives we often encounter.
Absolutely.
And of course, ethical reasoning guides us as we consider the moral implications of our interactions with different cultures.
Right.
And it reminds us to approach every interaction with respect and a sense of responsibility.
It's like they form this incredible framework for engaging with the world in a more informed, compassionate, and responsible way.
I love how you put that a framework for engagement.
Yeah.
It's not just about passively observing culture from a distance.
Right.
It's about actively participating in it, shaping it.
Yeah.
And being shaped by it.
Exactly.
But how do we actually do that? How do we move beyond simply understanding these concepts to actually putting them into practice in our daily lives?
That's where it gets really exciting. Because now we get to explore how these insights can empower you to live a more enriching and meaningful life.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give us the actionable steps.
All right. Well, remember those two key concepts we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Lifelong learning and the Pareto principle. They're essential for navigating the vast and ever-changing landscape of culture.
Right. Lifelong learning means recognizing that culture is a dynamic process.
Yes.
Not a static set of rules, right?
Not at all.
But how do we actually embrace this idea?
Okay.
How do we make lifelong learning a part of our daily lives?
It's about cultivating a sense of curiosity.
Okay.
And wonder about the world around us. Instead of passively consuming information, we need to actively seek out new experiences and perspectives.
So it's about being an explorer, venturing out into uncharted territory, discovering new landscapes.
Exactly. Read books from different cultures, watch films from different countries, listen to music from different genres.
Right.
Travel if you can. Talk to people from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
Be open to having your own assumptions challenged.
Okay.
It's about immersing yourself in the richness and diversity of human experience.
I love that. It sounds like an adventure.
It is.
But let's be realistic with so much information out there. How do we avoid feeling overwhelmed?
Right.
That's where the Pareto principle comes in, right?
Absolutely. Remember, it's about focusing on those key concepts, those foundational principles that unlock a deeper understanding.
Okay.
We don't need to become experts in every aspect of culture.
Right.
We just need to identify those core areas that resonate with us and then dive deep.
Okay. So how do we apply the Pareto principle to something as broad as culture?
Okay.
Give us some concrete examples.
Sure. In history, we can focus on those pivotal moments that shaped a course of human civilization.
Okay.
Think about the Renaissance, the French Revolution, the rise of democracy.
Right.
These are turning points that continue to influence our world today.
So it's about understanding the why behind the what.
Exactly.
Not just memorizing dates.
Right.
But grasping the significance of those events and their lasting impact.
Absolutely.
It's like finding those key pieces of a puzzle.
Yeah.
That help us see the bigger picture.
Precisely.
All right.
And in art and literature, we can explore those works that have stood the test of time and continue to speak to us across generations.
Right.
Think of Shakespeare's plays, the paintings of Leonardo da Vinci, the poetry of Rumi. These are masterpieces that offer profound insights into the human condition.
So it's about seeking out those works that have resonated with people for centuries.
Yes.
Because they tap into something universal, something timeless about the human experience.
Precisely. And in technology, we can study those major innovations that have transformed the way we live and interact with the world.
Yeah.
The printing press, the internet, artificial intelligence, these are game changers that have reshaped entire societies and continue to influence our lives in profound ways.
It's like tracing the evolution of human ingenuity. How we've constantly pushed the boundaries of what's possible, and how those innovations have both empowered and challenged us.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that technology is not just about gadgets and gizmos. It's about the human stories behind those innovations.
Exactly. And in sociology and anthropology, we can focus on those fundamental concepts that help us understand societal dynamics and cultural differences. Right. Think about things like social stratification, power structures, gender roles, cultural norms.
Right.
By understanding these concepts, we gain a deeper understanding of how societies function and how individuals interact within those systems.
It's like gaining a new set of lenses through which to view the world.
Yes.
We start to see the patterns, the connections, the underlying forces that shape our lives and the lives of others.
Absolutely.
It's about moving beyond those superficial judgments and stereotypes,
right,
and developing a more nuanced and compassionate understanding of the human experience.
I completely agree.
But with all this talk about understanding different cultures,
yeah,
I'm wondering, how do we avoid falling into the trap of essentialism?
Oh.
You know, that idea that all members of a particular culture are the same.
That's an excellent point.
Yeah.
It's crucial to remember that culture is not monolithic.
Right.
Within every culture, there's a wide range of diversity and individual expression.
Right.
It's about recognizing the commonalities while also appreciating the nuances and complexities within each cultural group.
So it's about avoiding those sweeping generalizations and stereotypes.
Yes.
And instead embracing the individuality and uniqueness of each person.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that every individual is a product of their own unique experiences and perspectives,
right,
shaped by a multitude of factors beyond just their cultural background.
That's a powerful reminder.
It is.
But with all this focus on understanding different cultures,
yeah,
I'm also wondering how do we maintain a sense of our own cultural identity?
Okay.
How do we avoid getting lost in a sea of different perspectives?
That's a great question.
Sure.
And it brings us back to the importance of self-awareness.
Okay.
Engaging with different cultures doesn't mean abandoning our own values and traditions.
Yeah.
It's about finding that balance between embracing the richness of diversity,
right,
while also honoring our own unique heritage.
So it's not an either proposition.
Yeah, not
it's about finding that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Where we can both celebrate our own cultural identity.
Yes.
And appreciate the beauty and complexity of other cultures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that our own culture is just one thread in that vast tapestry of human experience.
Right.
And that by embracing the diversity of those threads,
yeah,
we create a richer and more vibrant world for everyone.
I love that analogy. It's like a beautiful quilt where each square represents a different culture. And when stitched together, they create this stunning masterpiece.
They do.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
We've talked about history, art, technology, sociology,
yes,
anthropology,
right,
and the importance of diversity and critical thinking.
Absolutely.
How do we tie all of this together?
Okay.
What's the takeaway message for our listeners?
Well, I think the key message is that culture is not just this abstract concept.
No.
It's a living, breathing force that shapes who we are and how we interact with the world.
And understanding culture is not just an intellectual pursuit.
Right.
It's a journey of self-discovery.
Yes.
Empathy and connection.
Absolutely.
Right.
By embracing those 6 core principles of critical thinking,
right,
we can navigate this complex landscape with greater awareness, sensitivity, and understanding.
And by applying the Pareto principle, we can focus our attention on those key concepts and experiences that will have the greatest impact on our lives.
Absolutely. But ultimately, it's up to each individual to decide how they want to engage with culture.
Right.
What aspects resonate with them?
Yeah.
What stories do they want to explore? What connections do they want to make?
It's a journey of lifelong learning.
It is.
And discovery.
Yeah.
And the possibilities are endless.
They are.
And we are back for the final part of our deep dive into this incredible world of culture.
I'm so excited to kind of wrap things up here and see where we've landed.
Yeah, where are we?
After exploring all these different ideas.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty energized.
Yeah.
Like I've just unlocked a whole new level of understanding about the world.
Me too. Me too. And it's amazing how exploring something as vast as culture can be both humbling and empowering, right?
Yes.
Humbling because it reminds us just how much we don't know.
Right.
And empowering because it gives us the tools to kind of navigate this complex landscape with greater awareness, sensitivity, understanding.
Absolutely.
But before we get too carried away with all these big ideas.
Oh.
I want to kind of bring things back down to earth a bit.
Right.
Because it's one thing to talk about culture in this abstract philosophical sense.
Right.
But it's another thing entirely to actually live it, to breathe it, to make it a part of our everyday experiences.
You're absolutely right. It's about bridging that gap between theory and practice,
right,
between understanding and action.
Right.
And that's where those two key concepts we keep coming back to,
okay,
lifelong learning and the Pareto principle, become absolutely crucial.
Okay, so let's talk about how to put these concepts into action.
Okay.
First up, lifelong learning.
All right.
We've established that culture is not a static thing.
Right.
It's constantly evolving, right?
Yeah, it is. New trends emerge. Old traditions are reinterpreted. Our understanding of the world is constantly being reshaped.
Yes.
So how do we keep up?
Okay.
How do we make sure we're not just stuck in our own little cultural bubble?
It's about cultivating that mindset of curiosity, that thirst for knowledge that drives us to seek out new experiences and perspectives.
Okay.
Instead of passively consuming information,
Right.
we need to become active explorers, venturing out into uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Discovering new landscapes.
So it's like being an anthropologist in our own lives, constantly observing, questioning,
Yes.
seeking to understand the world around us.
Exactly. And the beauty of it is that there are so many ways to do this.
Okay, give us some.
Read books and articles from different cultures.
Yeah.
Watch films and documentaries that challenge your worldview. Listen to music that expands your horizons.
Right.
Travel if you can. Attend cultural events in your community.
Okay.
Strike up conversations with people from different backgrounds.
I like it.
The key is to be open to new experiences.
Yeah.
To embrace the unknown and to allow yourself to be transformed by those encounters.
I love that, but let's be real, with so much information out there,
Right.
it can be overwhelming.
It can be.
How do we avoid getting lost in a sea of content?
Right.
That's where the Pareto principle comes in, right?
Absolutely. Remember, the Pareto principle is all about focusing on those key concepts, those foundational principles that unlock a deeper understanding.
Right.
We don't need to become experts in every aspect of culture.
Right.
We just need to identify those core areas that resonate with us and then dive deep.
All right, so let's get specific. How can we apply the Pareto principle to something as broad as culture?
Okay.
Give us some concrete examples.
Sure. Let's start with history.
Instead of trying to memorize every single date and event,
Right.
focus on those pivotal moments that shaped the course of human civilization.
Right.
Think about the Renaissance, the French Revolution, the rise of democracy. These are turning points that continue to influence our world today.
So it's about understanding the why behind the what. Not just memorizing dates,
Right.
but grasping the significance of those events and their lasting impact.
Absolutely.
It's like finding those key pieces of a puzzle that help us see the bigger picture.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the same principle applies to art and literature. Instead of trying to read every book or see every painting,
Right.
focus on those works that have stood the test of time.
Okay.
And continue to speak to us across generations.
Right.
Think Shakespeare, Leonardo da Vinci, Rumi. These are masterpieces that offer profound insights into the human condition.
So it's about seeking out those works that have resonated with people for centuries.
Yes.
Because they tap into something universal, something timeless about the human experience.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And in technology, we can apply the Pareto principle by studying those major innovations that have transformed the way we live and interact with the world. The printing press, the internet, artificial intelligence. These are game changers that have reshaped entire societies and continue to influence our lives in profound ways.
It's like tracing the evolution of human ingenuity, how we've constantly pushed the boundaries of what's possible and how those innovations have both empowered and challenged us.
Yes, absolutely. It's a reminder that technology is not just about gadgets and gizmos. It's about the human stories behind those innovations. And finally, in sociology and anthropology, we can apply the Pareto principle by focusing on those fundamental concepts that help us understand societal dynamics and cultural differences.
Right.
Think social stratification, power structures, gender roles, cultural norms.
Okay.
By understanding these concepts, we gain a deeper understanding of how societies function and how individuals interact within those systems.
It's like gaining a new set of lenses through which to view the world. We start to see the patterns, the connections, the underlying forces that shape our lives and the lives of others.
Absolutely.
It's about moving beyond those superficial judgments and stereotypes and developing a more nuanced and compassionate understanding of the human experience.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And remember, as you're exploring these different facets of culture,
Yeah.
don't be afraid to revisit things you thought you already knew. Go back to that book you read in high school. Rewatch that movie that moved you years ago. Listen to that song that once spoke to your soul. You might be surprised by what you discover.
I love that it's a reminder that cultural exploration is not a linear process.
Right.
It's a journey of revisiting, reinterpreting, and rediscovering.
Yes.
Much like our own personal growth and evolution.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And as you continue on this journey, remember that it's not about becoming an expert in every aspect of culture. It's about cultivating that curiosity, that willingness to learn and grow, and that appreciation for the richness and diversity of human experience.
So as we bring this deep dive to a close, we leave you with one final thought-provoking question to ponder. How will you use the insights from this exploration to engage with the world in a more informed,
in a more empathetic,
in a more critically aware way? How will you weave these threads of knowledge into the tapestry of your own life, creating a richer, more meaningful,
more
connected experience for yourself and for those around you?
It's an ongoing journey.
It is.
And we're all in this together.
We are.
And I think, by embracing the complexity and the beauty of culture, we can create a more compassionate understanding and just world for everyone.
So keep those minds curious, those hearts open.
Keep exploring.
And those explorations ongoing. The world is a fascinating and multifaceted tapestry, just waiting to be discovered.
Until next time.
Until next time, happy exploring, everyone.